and good evening, and welcome to Sales Success Series, part 1 of 5. I'm so excited about tonight's webinar, and welcome one and all. I can see there's a few of you who've already joined us. Welcome. And we're just going to give it a few more minutes just to let anybody who's sort of still firing up at that old computer and give them a moment to join us. But I wanted to extend a special thank you for joining us on the first of the 5-part series. I absolutely love this topic in particular. What we're going to be doing is taking you through some fundamentals that I have found in my experience are really vital to a successful sales experience for both you and your client. So I'm going to be sharing those and drilling down into each of those over this 5-part series. So without any further, I'm going to get going because I really have so much to share with you tonight, and I want to make sure that we get through everything and maybe even more. Who knows? Wouldn't that be wonderful? All right, let's kick it off. I want to start with why sales. Now, have a little bit of a think for yourself at the moment. Why did you join sales, or why are you in a sales role, or why are you interested in sales? Why sales is important. I am so very passionate about sales, and the reason I'm so passionate is because I believe it's the cornerstone of so many aspects of our life. Yes, in essence, unromantically, sales is simply an exchange of a product or service for money. That's the crux of it. You can't really argue with that as a definition of sales. And I hope you agree with me. I think there's so much more to sales. Sales is such a beautiful, noble profession. And you've probably not heard noble and sales in the same sentence before, but I really firmly believe that this is absolutely a noble profession. So if you are a salesperson, or you're sitting on the webinar and you are thinking about sales, or you're an entrepreneur and you respect the role that sales plays in your success and the success of your clients, and I take my hat off to you, because you, in my opinion, are an awesome human. So sales is noble. It is so much more than just exchanging a product or service for cash. I believe it is about solving other people's problems, and that there's a lot of heart to that, and there's a lot of humanity to that. It's a human exchange. So I'm taking you beyond potentially a transactional exchange where you're buying bread and milk, for example, to, the things that really make an impact and a difference to people's lives, whatever that might be, whatever it is that you're selling. And I believe everyone sells. Now, I know sometimes I get into a bit of a, what would you say, controversy, around this concept. I think everything's a sales conversation. That's my opinion. Feel free to disagree, but yeah, I think you'll find that, if you're having conversations with colleagues at work, if you're having conversations with your husband or your kids around persuading or compelling them to do something that you want them to do, that, my friends, is a sales conversation. So whether you're selling a product or service for reals, like a tangible product or a service, or whether you just want to use these skills to have really great, awesome conversations, either way, you're in the right place. And I welcome you and congratulate you on taking some time out tonight. And you would have heard about this webinar through the Sydney Sales Meetup. So I wanted to give you a bit of a background, because I know there are some of you on the webinar who are new to the Sydney Sales Meetup group. So a very special, that's a clap, welcome to you, friends, for joining us on this Sydney Sales Meetup. And this is the second webinar, but the first in the series. We've been running meetups for just over a year now. We've peaked at over 540 members, awesome members. We've got lots of entrepreneurs in our meetup. We've got salespeople in our meetup. We've got people who just really want to be able to persuade and compel others and communicate better in our group. In essence, they're awesome individuals. If you've had a chance to come to one of our meetups, they are pretty cool. And we've got one on the 29th of August at Villaggio. So this is an old picture for our last goal setting. Of course, July, I thought it was a good opportunity to reset. So please do come along or come to the webinars. I really don't mind. Just get involved. I just really want to bring awesome salespeople together so that we can share and learn and grow together and create an awesome community. And I think you agree because you're on the webinar. So let's keep going. A little bit about me. I am an expert sales mentor. I have 10 plus years in sales training and mentoring, over 10,000 hours of sales mentoring and training. Apparently that makes me an expert because I've experienced 10,000 hours or more in my particular craft that I'm really passionate about. I've helped hundreds of entrepreneurs win over $60 million in revenue and growing because, of course, any dollar that I make or help someone else make is, it's compoundable. It just keeps compounding and growing. I'm a leader at the Coaching Institute. I'm the founder of Sydney Sales Meetup. I'm a creator of the Be More Awesome at Sales online course, which I'm really excited about. I'll tell you a little bit about that at the end of the webinar, just really quickly. And you know what? I'm a self-proclaimed awesome human because, why not? I've spent a lot of time working on myself and learning and growing. And in particular, I'm really proud of my sales ability. And I believe if you're really good at sales, you're a really awesome human. So two things that I found in my experience in my many years of coaching and of sales is that successful sales really comes down to two things. And the first thing is to be sales fit. Now, what do I mean by that? I've got a picture of a dumbbell here. It doesn't mean that I think you should go to the gym, although I'm sure that helps, but really that's not what I'm trying to pitch here for you. What I'm trying to share with you here is the importance of having a really great mindset. Now, what's going to happen in this 5-part series is I'm going to be sharing each time something different around what makes a really successful salesperson from a mindset perspective. And I've come down to 5 things that I believe are imperative to succeeding in sales to make you sales fit. Just 5, nice and simple. And the first one is curiosity. And we're going to be covering that off in detail tonight. The second webinar series will be on resilience. Oh, so important that I'm really excited for you to join us on that one. That one's a really good topic. Unlimited beliefs. We've all got things that are holding us back. And if we can smash those, then we can smash through our own limits until we really succeed at sales. Sureness is a really interesting one. This is about being really certain, really confident. And we go into a bit of detail about that one on webinar number 4. And then my last one, and controversial again, hustle with heart. That's the 5th webinar in the series. I always get a bit of a strange reaction to hustle with heart. People don't like the word hustle on the most part, is what I find when I dig deep. There's a negative connotation with the word hustle. So if you have that, if you have any kind of negative connotation with hustle, you don't really feel that comfortable with the idea of hustling, then you absolutely must come to the 5-part series, in particular, Hustle with Heart, Unlimited Beliefs. I believe that will go a long way to serve you because I don't mean hustling your customer, hustling them for money, being a Jordan Belfort of the world or something like that. No, it's greater than that. It's about hustling for your customer or your client, making sure that you're working harder than they are because you're hustling with all of your heart. And I love this topic, so I really hope you join us. In the future, there will be recordings available. Of course, I'll send those through the meetup as well. So don't stress out too much if you do miss one of these. It's okay. It's okay. We've got you. Oh, sorry. Keep going. Okay. And the second part, of course, is sales kit. So two parts, sales fit and sales kit. And sales kit has to do really with the sales process. And now, in my time, I have come across 7 steps, 10 steps, 20 steps, 8 steps, 9 steps. I'm over it. I think, in essence, what I've boiled all of that down to in the hundreds of hours of sales training that I have done in the last 10 plus years is that there is 3 steps to sales. I like things that are really simple and straightforward, and I trust you agree with me. The first thing we need to do really is to identify our customers' beliefs. Not beliefs, identify their needs. And, that's about having a conversation. It's about building rapport. It's all of those things. Then we need to, solve the problem that we've identified in the first instance in our conversation. Then we're going to outline next steps. So it's a nice, simple 3-part process: identifying the problem, solving the problem, and then telling them, okay, what's next? Very important, those 3 steps. In other webinars and in other meetups, I deal with these specific sales steps, but in this 5-part seminar series, we'll purely be focusing on sales fit and just drilling down on those 5 things. Just one last word on sales kit. The model that I use to break down these steps is eDisc. And eDisc is fundamental in understanding humans, in understanding the psychology of what motivates people to buy. It also is fundamental in helping you understand you as a salesperson and what opportunities and strengths and stretches you have. So I love the eDisc tool, and I talk about that in great detail in other webinars and other meetups as well. So I'm not going to dwell on that tonight, but if you've got any questions about any of those 4 things, because we won't be covering them off tonight, please feel free to email me. Or get in touch with me via Meetup, or a lot of you have got my phone number. There'll be a questions and answers page at the end. So I'm totally open to questions. So tonight, it's the Successful Sales series. It's part 1, and it's the C in C.R.U.S.H. The C in C.R.U.S.H. This is the C.R.U.S.H model. And we're going to be talking about the C in C.R.U.S.H. Does anybody remember what the C in C.R.U.S.H is? It is curiosity. The ultimate outcome that I want for you is that you are making more money, that you've got more clients, and that you're being more awesome. So if to suck the marrow out of tonight's webinar, ask for the slides. I am more than happy to send it all to you so you can really just absorb yourself tonight. You don't need to madly rush to write notes. The recording will also be available, so you can watch it again. I'll upload that onto YouTube. So again, just absorb yourself. Let the information wash over you. Absolutely implement your learnings. If you pick up 1 thing, 2 things, anything from tonight, you must implement it. If you don't implement it straight away, then really this sort of 45, 40 minutes that you've invested is not going to be the best bang for your buck. Teach it to someone else is another way you can suck the marrow. Take some notes. Most importantly, get a little bit uncomfortable. If you're comfortable with what you're doing, then you're not learning. So make sure you're pushing your comfort zone. This is my gift for you. It's valued at $97 plus GST, free to you today, because I want to contribute back. I've attended stacks of free trainings in my time, and I want to contribute back and add some value. I want to be able to demonstrate my skills, knowledge, and abilities, and help you decide if you want to continue to engage with me. Come to meetups or get involved on Facebook, however that works for you. And in general, just build a movement of awesome salespeople. That's what I'm really passionate about. So if you get value from today, put at least one idea into action. Tell people in Facebook land to get involved. Join the Sydney Sales Facebook community. Share your learnings. Please, there's absolute gold in tonight. Please tell everyone. I want you to share this. Don't keep it to yourself. Share it with other salespeople. Come to some Sydney Sales meetup events, or hire me is another really great way. So here we are. We're going to be talking about sales fit: curiosity, resilience, unlimited beliefs, sureness, and hustle with heart. It's the C.R.U.S.H model that I'm talking about. And C.R.U.S.H, that's what it stands for. C.R.U.S.H, having our customers have a crush on us. If you had your customers having a crush on you, would they or would they not buy from you regularly? I think so. So that's really what it comes to. And it's all about what's happening in your mindset. So let's talk tonight a little bit about our friend curiosity. I love curiosity. Now, I looked it up in the Webster Dictionary, I think, or Oxford. Don't quote me, but it was a dictionary. And curiosity is a noun, and it means a strong desire to know or learn something, or an unusual or interesting object or fact. Now, I don't like that definition. I don't actually particularly subscribe to curiosity being a noun. I'm more interested in curiosity as being a verb. What does it mean to do curiosity? And I appreciate that that's not great English, but come with me on this journey. I really want you to expand your minds a little bit about what it means to be curious. And if you're going to be curious, that's a verb, it's a doing word, it's something that you do. It shows your customer that you care. If you are curious about your client, they feel like you care. The opposite to curiosity could be judgment. If you're judging your customer, are they going to feel like you give a shit? Probably not. Are they going to think that you're really listening? Probably not. If you're showing your customer you care, then they're going to be already feeling like they're being listened to and that you're there for them and that they have a friend in you, and they're more likely to buy. And that caring stems from being curious. If you're curious, you're learning. Do we or do we not need to learn stacks about our client? We need to be learning about them all the time. And it's even more than the problem. We need to be learning about them, what drives them, not just the problem that they've brought you or the problem they're trying to solve immediately, but what drives them, what keeps them up at night, what's really going to make a difference and add so much value that they would never consider to go anywhere else. So curiosity will help you do that. It will help you learn about your client or customer. And if you're curious, you'll be developing. If you come from a place of curious, this is a learning space and you will learn and grow as a salesperson. I am not the same salesperson as when I started, which is actually now 13 and a half years ago. Can you believe it? I am so far removed from that person. I was a terrible salesperson. But what I was good at was I was good at learning and I was good at being curious about how I could better myself. And if you're curious about your customer, you will learn how to be a better salesperson as well as learning about them as well. So lots of really great benefits for you to be curious. Now, if you are being curious, then your behavior will follow. So this is an internal experience. This is something that's happening in your mind. You'll be asking questions because you're curious. If you think about the opposite of curiosity being judgment, there aren't many questions. If there are questions, they're generally accusatory, not curious. Would that be fair to say? So you will naturally ask better questions if you're coming from a place of being curious about the other person in front of you. You'll tilt your head, which will show that your customer is interested. You'll change your tonality as well. So you'll have a much more caring tone. You'll have a questioning tone, a curious tone. And your customer is going to pick up on those signals that you actually really care. And that's what they're going to be reading into all of these behaviors that stem from just you being curious. Not being a curiosity, which is a noun, but you being a verb, behaving curiously. Curiously and curiously. The curious human is an awesome human, and let's discover why. What does this really do for you? So we've just talked a little bit about what it does for your client, your customer, about the type of experience that you'll be delivering to them. But let's talk a little bit about you and why this is good for you. Number one, curiosity is a pleasure state. So there's actually research that shows that there are increased levels of dopamine. And for those of you who don't know, dopamine is the happy drug that your body naturally produces when you're experiencing a state of pleasure. Your body produces dopamine, and that gives you a feeling of being happy. So it's a happy drug. Judgment, on the other hand, is a fear-based thing. So it produces cortisol, which is a stress hormone, whereas curiosity produces a happy state. Now, you are more likely to see opportunities, sales opportunities, if you're operating from a place of curiosity and a place of happiness than you are if you're operating from a place of fear. So this is curiosity. You can see now I'm building a picture is absolutely the antidote to poor sales technique. Poor sales technique stems from fear and judgment and focusing on, oh my God, what am I going to say? What my customer, what if I get rejected? And what if my product sucks? And all of these things that are all about everything other than your client or your customer sitting in front of you that you're curious about. It counters levels of uncertainty. So again, uncertainty in a sales context is pure, like evil. Like you don't want to be uncertain for your client. Your client is purchasing your certainty. So curiosity counters any kind of uncertainty that you might be feeling, which is understandable. If you're curious, all of a sudden you cannot experience, it's really difficult for you to experience uncertainty if you're coming from a place of curiosity. And I'm going to delve into that in a little bit more detail because this is really fundamental psychology stuff. This is psychology 101, you know. This is really about how you roll as a human. And if you can understand this and harness it, it will make you an awesome salesperson without having too many techniques, without having too much of a sales kit in your pocket. You know, this is the cornerstone of good sales. Curiosity draws you out of your comfort zone. One of the things that I found in my years of training and coaching is that what holds a lot of people back from success is fear of getting outside of your comfort zone. So you're getting a real theme here. There's a fear theme versus, you know, a love theme, I guess, if I can go to that extent. It draws you out of your comfort zone. If you're curious about something, you're more likely to experiment. You're more likely to test the boundaries, to get a little bit uncomfortable. And I believe that's always a good thing if you're on the boundary of pushing those comfort zones, because what happens is you expand your comfort zone and you become bigger, better, faster, and stronger as a salesperson. So the being of curious, this is really about how. How do I be curious? Because it's all very well for me to say, just be curious, without really delving down to how you get into that kind of state. And we've talked about why you need to be curious. You're going to be learning so much more about your client, which of course is a good thing. It's going to set you up so much better from a conversational perspective. If you're being curious, you'll be able to ask questions quite naturally. You won't need a massive sales kit because you're really sales fit. And that's my message always, is that, you know, you can have, and this is an analogy, you know, that seems fairly common sense if you think about it this way, is that you can have the best hammer in the world. Okay, it could be, I mean, I don't know what hammers retail for. The last time I was at Bunnings, I think I paid, you know, $60 or something for one. But I bet you can get hammers for way more than that. You know, maybe it's stainless steel, maybe it's the best hammer in the world that you have. That's your kit, right? Your building kit. And think about that as an analogy for sales. It's a sales kit. You've got tools in your sales toolkit to use. Now, what happens if you're trying to screw a screw into the wall? Your hammer is absolutely useless. You're going to need a different tool. Now, if you're not aware, or if you're not in your mindset, know that you need to use a different tool, or you're not flexible to be able to, you know, use different tools and out of your sales kit, then you're going to be sitting there with a hammer trying to get a screw in the wall, and that's just going to be a big fat mess. So it really is, you've got to get your mindset right. You've got to really understand who you are and who your customer is, and some of these fundamentals. So being curious, how do we do it? All right. Number one is, who are you focused on? I want you to think about a time, and I get this all the time, so I know that you've experienced this, no doubt. Think of a time when you have felt, oh gosh, I don't want to, what if my customer says no? Or I don't want to ask for money. Or, you know, I don't want to ask for money because, you know, what if they say no? Or what if it's too much? What if they can't afford it? Or, or what if they don't like my product? Or what if they don't like me? Or what if I say the wrong thing? And I know, what if I'm too pushy? Oh, that's a good one. I get that all the time. What if I'm too pushy? And I get that that's a fear. I get that that is a fear. And whenever I ask, somebody brings me that, I was like, ask for business. And a salesperson will say, oh, no, I don't want to be too pushy. Well, who are you focused on in that moment? Are you focused on you, or are you focused on your client? And the answer is always, I'm focused on myself. I'm thinking about me. I'm thinking about my fears and my repercussions and what will happen to me. It's an inwardly focused. Now, naturally, you're going to experience some fear if you go into that place. That makes sense to me. And that's generally what I find happens. As soon as that you take the focus off yourself and you focus on someone else, it's really hard to have those thoughts. And if you don't believe me, just try it. Try it on for size, give it a crack. Ask yourself, who am I focused on right now? And what would be different if you just focused on your client? Because you will notice just by shifting that focus, the fear starts to subside. We are talking about operating from love, not fear, and I'm going to delve into this a little bit. I did allude to the fact that I would be. It is said that we experience only one of two emotions, either love or fear. Now, we have hundreds and hundreds of words for emotion, but every single one of those emotions can be drawn back to either being a love-based emotion or a fear-based emotion. Now, science, your brain is not geared to experience both simultaneously. Your brain can only experience one of those emotions at a time. You are either experiencing love or you are experiencing fear. You cannot, in the moment, experience both. It's got to be one or the other. Now, scenario A, what if I'm too pushy? What if my customer says no? Where is that? Is that love-based or is that fear-based? And it's not, it's fear-based and it's not resourceful. It's not helping you to focus on your client and be present for them and really listen, because there's so much noise going on in your own head because of the fear that you're experiencing. Are you getting it? Are you with me? As opposed to experiencing curiosity, which is a love-based emotion. I trust I'm not going too deep here. It's really important that we understand the psychology of what's going on for us and our customer as well. From a place of curiosity, so many gifts will come. And curiosity, there is no place for fear in curiosity. There isn't. It's a love-based emotion. Now this one, let silence do the heavy lifting. This is very much about being curious. And I have to tell you something, heart to heart, as a coach, when I first started coaching many, many years ago, I struggled with this one. Let silence do the heavy lifting. Who out there has ever felt like they needed to keep talking to avoid an awkward silence? As salespeople, you just can't read your customer. You don't know what's going on in their mind. And so what you do is you end up talking and talking and talking and keep talking about the product because you're too afraid to stop talking lest they say something horrible, because you just can't tell what they're saying. And I know I've done that before. I know I really struggled with this when I first started in coaching in particular. It really brought my awareness to how much I continue to talk to fill the silence. And I was really doing my clients a disservice by continuing to talk. And my little trick, you might have a different trick, but my little trick is to ask the same question 3 different times or in 3 different ways. Yeah, not particularly helpful. They probably just needed the first question, and then I needed to let them answer and I needed to be silent. So don't be afraid of silence when you're in a sales meeting. And that, I have to share with you, that can be kind of uncomfortable. But I say go with it. It's a good thing. If it's uncomfortable, go for it, because you are now outside your comfort zone. And that always is a good thing. You're learning one way or another. You're going to be a bigger, better, faster, stronger salesperson. So let silence do the heavy lifting. nature abhors a vacuum. Somebody's going to speak. Your client will speak, but give them time to process. There's lots of humans out there who really don't who don't always want to tell you everything. So let silence do the heavy lifting. Seek to understand, not to be understood. Seek first to understand, not to be understood. So make sure you understand your clients first before you start to help them to understand you and your product and what you have to offer. And be clear about the outcome and let go of any attachment to it. So what does that mean? It means you need to make sure that you know what the outcome is for your customer that you desire. Okay, you know that you want, which ultimately, if I'm going to keep it really simple for everyone, this applies to all, is that you're going to make a sale, if not in the first sales meeting, at some point in the future. So that is going to be the outcome. But let go of attachment to it. And the reason I say that is because it's really difficult for you to be curious about them and attached to a judgment that you've made about how the conversation should go or how the sales meeting could go. Does that make sense? So on the one hand, you need to be clear about an outcome, and that is about sales kit. That's about making sure you're following the process and that there's next steps, okay? But at the same time, you need to let that go and then be present. It's not easy to do. It takes some finesse, but it's very, very, very important. Okay, so I trust you found that useful. We've covered a lot of ground in a short amount of time, and there's lots of elements there that are deep rooted in psychology, and I trust that you're able to take some takeaways from here and just bring some curiosity to your sales conversations, because it's so vitally important for you to be curious. So in your 60-day plans, put at least one idea into action. I feel like out of this session, you've had some pings here and there, ping, 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 of things that you really felt were, oh, wow, I really need to do more than that. So take one thing and put it into action, ideally immediately. So if you can, finish this webinar in the next sort of 5 minutes or so, you're going to put that idea into action straight away, because there's no time like the present. And then, maybe in a week's time or 2 weeks' time, you're going to come back, visit this webinar again, and pick up something completely new and different that you didn't even know was said because you'd picked up your idea already. Success comes from incredible implementation. So pick some quick wins that you can implement today. And of course, I'm here to help you. So if you have any questions or comments, that's what this community is really about. So reach out to each other, reach out to me as well, and make sure that you reach out, ask those questions, and really learn and grow. Next step number 2 is, if you enjoyed tonight, if you've got some good things to think about out of tonight, book yourself in for a 45-minute discovery session with me over phone or Skype, phone or Skype, or possibly even face-to-face, depending on where you are and whether our calendars can meet up. And I can review that sales plan and give you some tips and tricks, give you a bit of a health check. It's valued at $300, but it's offered free for attendees. So please take up the offer, like it's a freebie, and just book it in. Book in pretty early, so maybe get in as soon as you can. Pretty booked out for the next couple of weeks, but yeah, make sure you take me up on that offer. The other thing I would love to see is anyone who is a successful qualifier from the 45-minute discovery session will be offered free for life the access to Be More Awesome Sales Mastery online program, which I'm really excited about. It's a launch program, which is why I'm offering it free for qualified discovery session attendees. So not everybody, but for those of you who qualify, that's valued at $97 per month, and that is offered to you for life for successful people who qualify from the 45-minute discovery session. This you can see a sample here of what's the program. That's just the first couple of modules. Powerful sales content, the latest learning methodologies, direct access to me. If you want to ask questions and get advice, I have my clients to shoot me an email saying, "Hey, I'm about to send this email off to someone. What are your thoughts?" Or I get a phone call, 5 minutes. Hey, I'm about to do some cold calling, and we end up jumping up and down and pumping each other up and having a good old time. It's an online course and mentoring program to help you make more money, win more clients, and be more awesome. It's available 24/7 on desktop, tablet, and mobile. There's regular updates, and it's fully downloadable as well. The other thing, I really haven't gone into any detail about eDisc tonight, but I will in other options. eDisc, oh my gosh, it's just so cool for salespeople, what it reveals and how it helps you be very productive in how you learn and really fast track your results. So that's a comprehensive report for strengths and stretches, an analysis of the report's a couple of hours, as well as an action plan. It will improve your productivity. It will help you win more business, and that's valued at $550. Or you can work with me. So in conjunction with the eDisc Sales Diagnostic, you can benefit from my 10,000 plus hours of coaching and mentoring. I have packages from 3 to 9 hours of one-on-one mentoring and coaching plus more, and that starts at $750. And if you have any questions and if you need more info, my website, bemoreawesome.com.au, is about to be launched any minute, or relaunched, I should say. It's been having a bit of a change over the last little while. And so any minute now, you'll be able to see that. It should be tomorrow or even today, potentially. While we were speaking, it could have been relaunched. You can email me at sharon@bemoreawesome.com.au. Ask me any questions you like. Give me a buzz, 0403678568. Or my favorite, which would be to see you awesome people at a Sydney sales meetup. As I said, the next one is the 29th of August. And it's at the Villaggio RSL in Sydney, and it's on how to have conversations that convert. And if you come to that, you'll really be in a good place already, because fundamentally, there's a lot to having conversations. There's a lot to sales kit in there, but it's really fundamentally about, getting a customer to have a crush on you and following the crush model. So you're in a good place if you come to that and you've already experienced the amazing content for tonight. Our next webinar is, I don't even know the date. I can't even think off the top of my head. But the next webinar that we've got coming up is part 2 in the series, and that is on resilience. Now, oh my God, you will need some resilience. You've probably worked that out already. If you're in sales, or you've had any experience in sales, you probably realized already that oh gosh, some resilience would be really handy. And the date for that one, here it is the 6th of September. Again at 7 o'clock, same bat time. I'm going to announce that meetup now. So get in early, and I will love to see you there. In the meantime, thank you so much for joining the webinar. Trust you got some value. If you've got any questions, please reach out. Have a great night, folks. Enjoy.